Welcome everybody to your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation, where I review every single week the major planetary aspects and transits, and I let you know how they're going to be impacting you specifically based on your birth date. This is not a horoscope. This calculates the position of your natal sun and how other planets are aspecting it, and so how they're going to be impacting you and the energies you're going to be facing this week. So what I'm going to do is go over the big stuff. I'm going to start globally with the charts for this week, the energy that's going to impact everybody. And then I'll create timestamps, and you'll find the timestamps down below in the description box. You'll find the timestamps, I'll pin it to the top of the comment section so that you can go right to your zodiac sign. And what you'll find there is energies specific to your zodiac sign, how all of these energies this week are going to be impacting your zodiac sign specifically. And then I break things down even further into the 3 decans of each zodiac sign, so you will know specifically how, based on your birth date, all the energies are impacting your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line for each week. The timestamps are down below. I encourage you to peruse and, question all other signs. Be curious about maybe what's going on with your friends or what's going on with other dynamics of even yourself. Simple curiosity. This video was really made for it because of the timestamps, and it's so easy for you to just bounce from one to another. So let us start out with the big stuff. This is for the week of October 29th through November 4th of 2023. This is our first full week of a Scorpio season, and of course it includes Halloween, and I will go over the astrology for Halloween as well. So let's start with the big stuff. The biggest thing that's happening, there's a lot of little things that are happening this week that culminate into big stuff. And it's all taking place in Scorpio. This is Scorpio season, but there's so much energy in Scorpio right now because the Sun, Mercury, and Mars are all in Scorpio, and they're all pretty much conjunct each other. And that's a lot of centralized energy for what's impacting our personal lives right now, because those are all inner planets and they're really intense energy. The fact that all of them are throughout this week going to be either in opposition to Jupiter or eventually in opposition to Uranus also amplify the energy that we're going to be experiencing, and some of it is very beneficial, and I will let each of you know how it will be impacting you, and especially if it will be impacting you. Scorpios, of course this is going to be impacting you. Taurus, of course this is going to be impacting you. The reason I say that is because the Sun, Mercury, and Mars are all in Scorpio, and Jupiter and Uranus are in Taurus. So yeah, these definitely are going to be impacting you. Other fixed signs, you could be square to this energy. So Aquarius and Leo, you could be square to this energy. Other water signs, you could certainly be trine to this energy. Other earth signs, you could certainly be trine to this energy, and we'll discuss sextiles as well. We'll get into all of this. But there's a lot of little stuff that's accumulating that actually creates really almost like the pot is being stirred, or the sands are starting to be churned. But the biggest thing is Saturn goes direct on November 4th. So the last day of this week, we have Saturn at 0 degrees Pisces. It is stationary right now. It is going to start going direct on November 4th. So it never moved out of Pisces, right? It stayed in Pisces, and now it'll start making some progress through Pisces, so that by, I would say, the end of the first quarter this coming year, so say March, Saturn will finally move into the second decan of Pisces. Right now it's been in the first decan of Pisces, which of course has made it trine to the natal suns of those of you in Scorpio, first decan. But ultimately, and ultimately what that will mean for you guys moving forward. The fact that Saturn is direct is almost like yet another switch has turned on again, especially the outer planets when they go into retrograde, which they do every single year. There seems to be almost like a quiet period where we don't really know what's happening, but as soon as the planets go direct, we start to see what they've been working on, what they've been discovering, what they've been assessing. And so that energy and that delivery system is about to be delivered to us. Saturn, as you know, impacts reality in general, height, length, width, all of those restrictive measurements that actually define our reality. It also conducts business. It also conducts rules, laws, regulations. So where things have kind of slacked off, we're going to start to see a reemergence of some authority that's going to turn back online. The sun is opposite Jupiter all week long, and this could be confidence to the point of stupidity, but certainly there will be a tremendous energy of optimism that is happening this week. We also have Mars in opposition to Jupiter, which sounds kind of like trouble, but in reality, it's one of the most beautiful oppositions. It's highly impactful, it's highly progressive, it's a very confident and competent, and it's one of the few occasions when risk is actually recommended. When there's a sense of, yeah, you'll want to take the risks. This is the kind of energy that could really move you out of your stuck zone, right? So it could be very, very helpful. It's powerful, it's potent. It's basically... it wants to win. It wants people to take notice of it. This is the energy of I am ready to win, and I am determined to win, and I'm not going to allow anything to stop me. But it's in an optimistic way, and though it can be a little bit too aggressive. And this is the one thing with all of these energies today, since they are not today, this week, since they are oppositions. It's An opposition is kind of something that constantly stays on you and stays nagging you. It doesn't have to be bad. It could be very good, but it really just means that you're going to have to stay on top of the energy and watch how you're using it. So being determined to the point of undermining other people is not going to be good here. Being determined to the point of not listening or responding to challenges that you're supposed to be meeting, not going to be good here. But like if you can remain focused and screw your ethics to their sticking point, this is going to be an extremely beautiful energy for you because it will be highly productive. So we also have the sun conjunct Mars pretty much all week. Powerful, potent, certain, it's assertive, always confident, and very creative in a way when the sun is conjunct to Mars. And then Mercury's thrown in this mix too. Mercury for most of this week is conjunct to both of them. So we have speech and communication and discovery of information, since this is all happening in Scorpio. There's a lot of things that are going to be super potent, maybe taken to the extreme, but also, it's dredging up the stuff from the dirt. It's dredging up stuff that we've tried to hide, or things that have been buried. That I know initially that sounds bad, but think of it this way. What if your resume has been buried beneath 100 other resumes and something happens to dredge that up? This could provide opportunity, or for us to finally see things that we've forgotten about or that we have buried. So this could also bring a lot of clarity and opportunities back into the mix. Scorpio has a really resurrective energy to it. So with all this energy, there could be things coming back to life that we thought had died out. Opportunities, not necessarily relationships, but opportunity for relationships, finding that emotion or that feeling or that will, with all this really optimistic energy, optimism to actually take a risk again, right? That could have been buried under a lot of pain, but because we have that scorpionic catharsis, it could be dealing with this pain and finally being able to talk about it. So there's a lot of wonderful potential for this energy. We have Mercury conjunct to Mars through the 3rd. Action with words could also mean rushing to decisions. So it's just how much control and authority do you keep over your mind and your mouth? Because this could be very confident and potent communication. It could also be reactionary and defensive. So you have to choose how you use the energy. Watch for overstretching yourself or your talents, especially with the sun conjunct Mars opposite Jupiter. Know who you are and know what you're good at, but don't not push it to the extreme. It's okay to push yourself in this energy. It's not okay to lie about what you can do or overestimate your potential. That's what I'm trying to say. So keep it real, keep it honest, but don't keep it humble. You don't really have to be humble in this energy if you know you're good at something. You can say it out loud. This is energy that will react very positively to that. That's not bragging. Bragging, on the other hand, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. When you haven't really done it, it's going to get you into big trouble, primarily because the opportunity will probably come through for you, but can you deliver? So if you know yourself and you know what you're good at and you've disciplined yourself and you've gone through those ropes of really having the discipline in your muscle memory, it's fine to open up and say, I know I can do this. I know because of this and this and this and this, and here are my reasons why, and here's my receipts. If you can deliver that, then there is no reason why you shouldn't act confidently and why doors won't open for you in this energy. However, this energy does act upon us all. So not just the people who have the receipts, but also the people who want, but don't necessarily deserve. And so there can be a lot of big talk that's happening here too. And we're going to get into the energies that really concern me not in conjunction. That's an astrology term, but that are working within this energy, working alongside of them right now. And this is Venus. So Venus is actually in a beautiful position were it not for one really perplexing energy. Venus is trying to Pluto this week and trying to Uranus. These are very productive energies in that I want change. I'm ready for change. I see beauty in change. I'm ready to develop and grow and evolve in a lot of ways. This is really beautiful energy. If it wasn't for this one aspect that I'm about to tell you, I would be super psyched about this week. You know the one aspect that really bothers me? Venus is in direct opposition to Neptune. And that bugs me because that could mean we're susceptible to being lied to, we'll fall for the BS, we'll get wrapped up in our fantasies. It can also be highly creative energy. You know, it can also really help us think outside the box. So it really depends on how you use the energy. But there's a lot of illusion and delusion associated with this aspect. And I got to tell you about that because there could be people blowing smoke up your ass, right? Especially with the Mercury conjunction to Mars, the Sun, opposition to Jupiter. There could be a lot of big talk and a lot of big promises and a lot of people that are just bullshitting. So this is really the time to get your receipts in order so that you can show you're not one of the bullshitters. And ask for other people's receipts. Show me the receipts. Show me the receipts, Diane. Show me the receipts. Leave in the comments below if you know what I'm referencing right there. But that's what it is. It's like, show me the receipts. Can you show me what you're promising me? Because if you can, hallelujah. Like, this is going to be great. A great week. A great energy. And listen, it can be a great week for you too. Just get your receipts in order because it's really important with that opposition between Venus and Neptune to be able to reconnect to the reality. Beautiful ideas and ideas that could seem so beautiful, you just get caught up in them. But show me the receipts. Show me the applications. Show me that you have the skills, right? It's not just about conceptualizing this week. So it's really, really important for you to kind of ground yourself there. Now, especially Venus, which means matters of money and matters of the heart. What you desire. Venus, because she's trying to both Pluto and Uranus at the same time, is very, very keen right now on changing. And that means it's even easier because she's so open and receptive to change. It's even easier for her to be deceived or for people to work in deception because they can smell desperation or they can smell the desire. So it's really, really important that you don't text that random phone number that you know you never gave to anybody back. You know, you don't believe the emails in in your email account to say, we're from Amazon and we need your credit card information because it's not running through. No, go check your Prime account, right? If you're getting any of these things that are coming into you, lots of scams will be about right now, right? And maybe even revelations of scammers that are coming out. Scorpionic energy could really draw out the hidden uglies, the hidden nasties, especially if they feel cocky and feel like, oh, I can get away with this. But can you? Not really right now, because I think the smart people will be asking full receipts. Venus is also quasi-compromised because she is semi-square to the sun. Simply this, something is egging her on. You know, there's a need there. There's an I'm ready. There's a lack of satisfaction that is encouraging her to make moves and make transitions. But are you just fantasizing it? Venus trine Uranus is also, I want to experiment with new stuff. You know, this is really the cheater aspect if you really want to get down to it, because you want to be open and you want to be exploratory, and it could really lead you into some pretty gnarly positions for the future, because this aspect will only last this week. And then what do you got? Oh, I thought everything was so good. It seemed like a dream. Yeah, Venus opposite Neptune as well. So this can be very troubling energy as well. It can be very disruptive. So it is so important this week to stay grounded in that foundation of reality. Show me the receipts. It is a fun, highly pleasurable time to go dating. But show me the receipts. Like, don't throw yourself into a situation. If you're looking for fun, you're going to find fun this week. I will guarantee you, if you're looking for fun, it is there. But if you're looking for things that are serious and long-term, show me the receipts. Show me the receipts. I may be looking across and seeing somebody gorgeous and handsome that I want to date, that I want a future with, and he's telling me everything I want to hear. Show me the receipts. And the receipts simply are, okay, well then you'll be willing to take me on another date. We don't have to rush right off to the bedroom, right? Right? You're not telling me what you want just because you want to seal the deal really quickly so that I don't look into whether or not what's in the contract is really viable. You know what I'm saying? Especially with business deals, you're going to want to read those contracts very closely and make sure that they work out. You know, and have a little foresight. And have a little standards. Not even a little. Maintain your standards this week. And I think you'll be doing very well too. What I wrote down is this is a challenging time because it sets up the energy of change and desire to see change in a difference in circumstances. Like, you'll want the difference in circumstances, but it could be a trick or a deception, and you'll be willing to throw yourself into it. That's that Venus energy. So it's okay to have those desires. It's okay to want change. And a lot of us, especially financially right now, I don't know if you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on all throughout the globe that could generate a lot of desperation. And so people will be more prone to act reactively and impulsively, as opposed to ground themselves in reality and ethics and standards. So it's really important to hold tight to them. To be honest with you, that's really why I like the fact that Saturn is coming back online, going direct, because Saturn tends to be that planet that will call people out on their shit and ask for receipts and maintain standards. So thank God, especially toward the end of this week. Uranus toward the end of this week is going to be going into, or Mercury is going to be going in opposition with Uranus, plus the fact that Uranus is trine to Venus. Lots of surprises can come up, especially toward the end of the week. So Uranus, you know, is very unpredictable energy. It doesn't like to be predicted. It likes to surprise people. So especially when Mercury, now all week long, Venus is going to be in opposition to Uranus. But when Mercury finally comes in opposition with Uranus toward the end of the week, this is really the time when there could be a lot of surprises that end up coming out. A lot of surprises. And so I don't know if they're going to be good or bad. We'll see. But I want to go into the astrology for Halloween, baby. No, right, dude. You know what I wrote down? For real, straightforward, I said night of bad decisions and great sex. I hope you find that funny. I find that amazingly funny. So Halloween, the sun is in opposition to Jupiter. The sun, Mars, and Mercury conjunction is strong with this one. It is in opposition to Jupiter. Venus is trine to Pluto, trine to Uranus, and opposite Neptune. And Chiron is sextile to the moon in Gemini. That is also, the moon will be square to Venus. We are so going to be desiring to heal past hurts that we may be jumping into situations that are really just temporary pleasure. Now, if it is just temporary pleasure for you, have at it. Have a great time. No judgment. But honestly, it could be, especially if it impacts, long-term things that you've already committed yourself to. This could not be the best thing. I'm just letting you know. So, listen, good times. Listen, we have the full moon in Taurus that happens when it comes to Halloween. Since this begins on the 29th, remember the full moon just happened the day before, happened on October 28th. And full moon astrology is, of course, the full moon conjunct, the sun is conjunct to Mercury, conjunct to Mars, opposition to Jupiter. And this is with Jupiter, which is loosely conjunct the moon. There's a lot of sensuality in that mix. There's a lot of potential for good times in that mix. And I talked about that last week, but ultimately, it doesn't mean that it's going to last long term, and it doesn't mean we're making the best choices. Faith is so important right now. Faith is important always. I understand that. But I think it's this. This is what I really want to say. Especially with Venus trine Uranus, trine Pluto. Neither Pluto or Uranus like or can possibly be controlled. And the idea that you can control it is stupid. You cannot. So what I would suggest for this whole week overall is to know who you are. Maintain your standards. But also, simultaneously, the more you control the more you know and root yourself in your authenticity, the more you will be likely to allow yourself to go with the flow. Because the flow of this week is going to direct you someplace beautiful. It wants to set you up for something really remarkable. But it's the people who try to push against it and insist too harshly on, but I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell the energy what to do, and I can do this, and I can do that. And yes, I think humility is necessary this week. Not when it comes to who you are. It's fine to be confident with who you are. And if you know that you have skills, absolutely. Be open and receptive to where the universe is directing you to use them. Because there is such an easement here with Pluto and Uranus connecting through Venus, that if you can just have faith and know that even things that are odd or even things that are unusual, you may be able to apply your talents and skills to. Or you may find an energy that is exactly what you really desired, that is coming from a place that you would never have expected. So it's so important to root in faith, integrity, and intuition right now. In terms of logic and reason, Mercury opposite Uranus is very brilliant energy. It's just there's a lot of surprises that are going to come out of your mouth. There's a lot of words or things that are going to be said that are going to shock people, especially with Mercury in Scorpio. Because Mercury in Scorpio is very investigative. It's very much the PI. It very much can reveal some things that you didn't realize were even going around. And be ready. Be ready to have to improvise. be ready to go along with the push instead of try to push yourself in a specific direction, because that could be the week that that could be the energy that really turns this into not so good energy. Whereas the opposite energy of just, okay, I know who I am, I know what I'm good at, and I'm open and receptive to the blessings that the universe is sending to me, or the direction it's sending me in. It doesn't mean go blind and not ask questions, but intuitively really connect, and that's where the truth will live. It's really important this week. So let's go into, I'm sorry, kisses, let's go into zodiac specific energy. We're going to start off with Scorpio. So I should write this down. We're going to start off with Scorpio. So what's happening in the zodiac sign of Scorpio? We have the sun. It's going to move between 6 and 12 degrees Scorpio. We have Mars. It's going to move between 12 and 16 degrees Scorpio. And we have Mercury. It's going to move between 12 and 22 degrees Scorpio. So there's a lot of energy that's here. I think by the end of the week, it's hard for me to say that the Sun and Mercury are still conjunct, but through most of the week, right up until I think November 2nd, the Sun is going to be at least in a loose conjunction to Mercury. At that point, it'll be within a 10-degree orb, and it won't be so intense, but Mars is still there between them, and they'll both still be conjunct to Mars. I'm sorry. So what does that mean? Well, those of you who are Scorpio 2s, so those of you who have birthdays between, say, November 1st and the 11th, you're going to be getting a lot of action. There's going to be a lot of energy that you're going to find rumbling or really being stimulated right now in your energy. And with Mercury, it could go out to those of you born at the beginning of the 3rd decan. So really anyone from, say, November 1st through November, say, 15th. There's a lot of stimulation in this area right now. And so those of you will have a lot of stimulation and actually feel a lot of confidence, especially when it comes to purging or speaking of or talking about things. So just an FYI, what is Mars doing? Mars is your traditional ruler, and Mars is in Scorpio, where it's very, very comfortable and very sure of itself, very powerful, and it tends to be very controlling. It is conjunct the Sun, it is conjunct Mercury, and it's in opposition to Jupiter all week long. So this makes it even more sort of demonstrative of its own personal authority and a little bit more aggressive, if not confident. We also have Pluto. Pluto is your modern ruler, your primary ruler, and it's still in Capricorn. Because it just a couple weeks ago it went direct. It is now at 28 degrees Capricorn. It did move all the way back to 27 degrees, but now it's moving once again more toward Aquarius, which is where it will eventually end up next year for the next like 13 years. So the dynamics, the intensity of the world and how the world is changing will start to shift again. Pluto is square the nodes, and it is sextile to Neptune. It has been this way for a while. Since Uranus has moved even back, it has retrograded. Uranus is still in retrograde. And it's retrograding even further back into Taurus. And since Pluto is now direct and it's moving more toward Aquarius, there isn't that strong of a trine there right now. But we still have that sextile to Neptune and the square to the nodes. And this week we have a trine to Venus, which really does push a power play into our desires. It makes them have more gravity. It makes them have more obsessiveness. It makes them have more intensity. And it also opens them up to darker aspects of desires, feeling more comfortable, not backing down from them. If this is something that you can normally tolerate, this is very scorpionic energy, that's one thing. But for the rest of the world, it can be something very different. But hidden desires will definitely rumble and come up for you guys this week. Let's go into the decans. So Scorpios, if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 1 degree Scorpio, you guys are Scorpio 1s. This correlates, I'm sorry, 0 and 9 degrees. I said that, right? Scorpio. This correlates to October birthdays, including, yes, our Halloween babies. So October 22nd through October 31st, this is Scorpio 1. Your natal suns are conjunct the current sun all the way up to the end of the week. And if you're born more toward Halloween, like the 30th and 31st, it will be conjunct your natal suns all week long. Because even though the sun will transit and move up to 12 degrees into Scorpio, you'll still be in at least a 4-degree conjunction with that sun. So this will bring a lot of confidence to you guys. It'll bring a lot of visibility. It'll bring a lot of self-assurance and self-certainty, maybe even cockiness to some degree. But it's usually very creative, romantic, playful, and optimistic energy. You do have a long-term square to Pluto, especially if you're more toward the cusps. But this will just intensify the fact that the sun is conjunct your natal sun, intensify your confidence, and it could intensify how you headbutt others, right? And how noticeable you are to everybody else, and how maybe much of a threat you are to other people. So that could happen too, just an FYI. And then which means that they'll push back against you harder, or they won't want to talk to you because they think, oh, they're just here to take over, which maybe you are. It will be impossible for you to hide. If you want something and you desire something this week, guys, it's going to be impossible for you to hide, even though you may prefer to hide it, because people are going to smell it wafting off you. And then we have that trine to Saturn, which can be very grounding energy. And I'm very happy for that energy this week. Saturn at 0 degrees Pisces is actually trining a lot of this energy. It's definitely trining your natal sun. So whereas the week before we had all those conjunctions and stelliums grounded by Saturn, now it's not so much. But your natal suns are still trine to Saturn simply because your natal suns don't change position. So ultimately there is a groundingness about you. Whereas if you adhere to the laws and the rules, or at least you're aware of them, at least in terms of authority, this could help you out a lot with regards to making moves and pushing things forward. FYI. Let's go on to Scorpio 2s. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Scorpio, it's in Scorpio 2. This correlates to birthdays between November 1st and the 11th. So your natal suns are in opposition to Jupiter, and they have been. It's just that now all this activity on top of it is making things really explode for you guys. So this is a really explosive week for you. Your natal suns are conjunct to Mars. They're conjunct to Mercury through the 3rd of this week, so basically almost all week. From the 2nd, and for those of you born around the 1st and 2nd, it's going to happen even sooner. So maybe say even October 31st. Your natal suns will be conjunct the current sun. All of this energy is giving you a lot of confidence and a lot of certainty and self-assurance. It is a wonderful time for you to take risks, especially with where you know you are strong. It is definitely a wonderful time for you to allow yourself to be seen. There is a confidence and a competence now about you that will really work in your favor. Just stay away from cockiness and arrogance. This could be a beautiful week, though, in terms of progress made. You do have a long-term quincunx to Chiron, which can be egging you on and make you want to repair things or get better or make up for what you feel you've lost in the past. So just be conscious of that, because that can be very activated in energy where you're compelled to push forward. Make sure you're acting on knowledge based on experience, as opposed to desperation based on as opposed to desire based on desperation. Just an FYI. Let's move on to Scorpio 3s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Scorpio, you guys are Scorpio 3s. This correlates to birthdays between November 12th and the 22nd. So Mercury is conjunct your natal sun as of the 3rd. And if your birthday is around the 12th or 13th, even earlier in the week, I would say at least by November 1st, your natal suns will be conjunct to Mercury. This is brilliant energy. It's energy that makes you really confident with how you talk. Your mind's working really cleverly. And especially because your natal suns are in opposition to Uranus, lots of bright ideas, but there could also be a lot of surprises. You could even surprise yourself with what ends up coming out of your mouth. And it can be brilliant, but also once it's out there, it's out there. So it will be more challenging. And Scorpios like to be private. It's going to be a lot more challenging for you guys. Like in a very rare turn of events, you guys could really start to be really jabby, like jibber jabber, and run off at the mouth. I don't think this will be very angry energy. You also have the very helpful energy of a sextile to Venus this week and a sextile to Pluto. So your desires will be right on the surface, and you'll want to take every opportunity you can to go after them. Now, that's great. But also understand that your mouth will run off. It could actually work in your favor this week. I'm not saying be scared of it. I am saying be aware of it, because did I really say that? Did I really do that? You could act out of your natural character is what I'm saying. And so whoever you attract at this time especially could expect that moving forward, as if that really is you. And so when you close off and get less chatty, it may be a surprise to people eventually. It may not be a long-term problem, but it could be. Just an FYI. Yeah, this sextile to Venus is optimistic and beautiful. This is a great time for a makeover, a spa day, shopping spree, right? Don't spend too much, though. You could go to extremes, especially Sun sextile Pluto, but the opportunities are there. The gravity to your character is there. There is certainly an attractiveness and appeal that you won't even have to work at. So it's almost like really just review what comes to you this week. You don't really have to push to make waves yourself. And then we have a trine to Neptune, which is beautifully creative energy. You could see a lot of, and in opposition to Uranus, which we talked about, you could see a lot of breakthroughs this week, Scorpio 3s, in really brilliant, beautiful, and satisfying ways. You know, don't stand upon ceremony. Don't sit there and don't sit there and expect things to go as normal. They're not. This is kind of a very open and optimistic week. And if you're sure of something, take the risk, take the chance. Absolutely. But I'm telling you, you'll be able to take the risk and take the chance on opportunities that sort of open up without you having to really even knock on the doors. I think there'll be a lot of opportunities for you. And when you're certain, go for it. You let me know in the comments below how this energy is impacting you. And definitely be sure to subscribe to this channel so we can grow here on Astrology Motivation. Don't forget to like this video and share it with those people that you know will like it too. I love you guys and thank you so much. I will see you in the videos. Bye, Scorpio. All right, let's move on to Libra. So if you know that you are a Libra, you'll know that you're a Libra. I'm sorry. What is happening in Libra? So the only thing left in Libra right now is the South Node at 24 degrees Libra. Yeah, so there's our comfort zone with partnerships, right? Or partnerships from the past and what they have to teach us, issues, troubles, struggles, all coming up right now to sort of show us our shit and inspire us to do things differently, being more independent and being more individual. So what is going on with your ruling dignitary, Libra? What is going on with Venus? Well, Venus is very active this week. She's in Virgo, and she will move basically third decan of Virgo, between 20 and 26 degrees Virgo. She is trine to Pluto and trine to Uranus, and this is going to give you sensations all over the place to make changes and get out of old situationships, or be willing and open to metamorphosize. Like change your life, your desires will change, what you want will be different, open and receptive to metamorphosis and surprise, even surprising yourself. There's an opposition to Neptune that can be very misleading and deceptive. It can also be extremely creative. So if you just use it as keeping yourself open to possibilities this week, that's great. But remember, you are more susceptible to falling for bullshit and believing the things that are actually too good to be true. They will not be true. So definitely, if you really desire something, really desire it, ask for the receipts. Like, let it prove itself to you. Just an FYI. You also have Venus also has a semi-square to the sun, which can kind of egg her on, making her a little bit more egotistical, a little overconfident, or a little desperate to prove herself. And with that opposition to Neptune, this could cause some tricky issues here, especially because the trine to Uranus and trine to Pluto are making her desires shift and what she values shift. It's okay, that's great, as long as they're shifting someplace that won't get her into trouble. FYI, on the 31st, so on Halloween, Venus is square to the moon. And the square to the moon between moon and Venus is also particularly deceptive energy. So for you guys especially, I would say Taurus is too. Anybody ruled by Venus, Halloween is going to be a sultry mess for you guys. It's almost like a lot of self-deception and a lot of believing in the magic and falling in love with the costume could happen on Halloween for you guys. FYI. Gonna leave it there for you. Be open to change, but let it happen in its own way. Don't chase it. You'll cause the wrong things. You'll cause the wrong things to happen and be easily led off your path. Don't chase anything. Allow it in and assess it. Right? This is almost like, this is where the faith comes in. Where the most troubling thing could be Venus semi-square the sun. The sense of she has to be the one to make the decision, right? She has to be the progressive. She doesn't. You know, allow. Be confident in your desirability right now. I was going to say, don't fall in love with the costume. That's my only warning right there, especially for Halloween. Let's go into the decans, shall we? So if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Libra, you guys are Libra 1s. This correlates to Libran birthdays pretty much in September. So September, say 22nd through October 1st would be in and around your birth dates. Cusps only. Libra 1s. By the 2nd of this week, your natal suns are going to be conjunct to Venus because Venus is now at 26 degrees Virgo. So if you are, say, Libra 1s at the cusp born on September 22nd, by the end of this week, Venus is conjuncting your natal sun. So especially by the end of this week, you are going to be susceptible to the energies that are impacting her. All of your natal suns are trine to Pluto. So there is more of an extreme, a sensibility and an extreme openness that you normally may not be aware of. But with Venus there, this is about what you desire, financial income, value. This is actually beautiful and playful energy, but at the same time could be overwhelming. And your natal suns are the ones that are in opposition to Neptune, especially at the cusps. But all of you are in opposition to Neptune and trine to Pluto, but especially at the cusp, only at the cusps will you be conjunct to Venus by the 2nd of November. I think it's especially those of you at the cusps that could really see a huge opening or potential impossibilities, but not assess it enough to know if it's sincere. So it's really going to be challenging, especially for you cuspers, to stay grounded this week. But if you can stay grounded and keep your mind as clear as possible, this actually could be a very beautiful week for you. Just an FYI. Let's go on to Libra 2s. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Libra, you guys are Libra 2s. This correlates to birthdays between October 2nd and the 11th. Your natal suns are in opposition to Chiron, which means they're all year long, they are being sort of bombarded by, am I good enough? You know, self-esteem issues can be likely this year of your life. You also have a quincunx to Jupiter, which makes you overreact or try too hard to have people see your talents and skills. If you can channel that Chironic energy into what is What is this trying to teach me? What am I trying to say to myself right now? What has compromised my sense of self-esteem? And not try to overprove yourself. You can turn this energy into a beautiful lesson in how to appreciate what you really have and clarity in what you really have. And with that, and that realistic connection to your talents and skills, move forward in that direction, and you'll see a lot more doors open up for you. Let's go on to Libra 3s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Libra, you guys are Libra 3s. This correlates to birthdays between October 12th through the 22nd. Your natal suns are the ones conjunct the south node and opposite the north node. So this is a turning point in your life. It's trying to stimulate an awakenness and an awareness about who you are, reminding you about all this shit that you've gone through because you've settled in or settled for relationships or partnerships in the past. And it's egging you on to say, see, you need to be more independent. You need to be more self-motivated and be able to get out into the world and be there in the world by yourself, as opposed to always needing a partner. Especially you guys right now are awakening to this energy or this necessity in your life. And it's going to get real uncomfortable if you've settled too much in those old partnerships. We have also a square to Pluto, which just makes everything more extreme and more troubling, because it'll challenge you constantly to make the change, and everybody will have their eye on you. You won't be able to hide it from anybody, and you have a lot more susceptibility to people getting irritated by you or not trusting you or feeling like acting aggressively towards you because they feel like you're coming at them too much. So without humility and an openness to change the way you have always done things, your life will get more and more increasingly difficult until you show that willingness to the universe. You also have a quincunx to Uranus and a quincunx to Neptune. And considering your ruling dignitary has a trine to, quincunx to Uranus. I'm just trying to get it in my head. Libra 3s. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's true. I just had to see. It got me distracted. I apologize. Something didn't shift right in my head. But yeah, quincunx to Uranus, quincunx to Neptune. So you're going to be really challenged with where you've deceived yourself in the past. And you have. It's come from partnerships in the past. And there'll be a lot of spurs in your side and pebbles in your shoe and a lot of irritation based on where you have been self-deceptive and not authentic in your own personality, and where you have not been true to yourself, where you have not believed in who you are and been okay being independent. All of those things are really going to start to rattle your cage for the next couple of months while that south node is conjuncting your suns. And it's there to teach you. It's there to spur you on, like a spur on a horse's side, to get you to move and stop the insanity and get out of this comfort zone that is really only comfortable because it's all you've known or it's all you've settled for. It's basically saying raise your standards. That's kind of what it's saying. That's the energy around you guys right now. FYI. Let me know in the comments below how this energy is impacting you guys. I would love to know. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel so we can grow over here on Astrology Motivation. And then share this video with people that you know would like it too. Give us a big thumbs up before you log off, and I will see you guys in the videos. Bye, Libra. All right, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, what is going on in Sagittarius right now? Nothing. There's nothing happening. No big stuff that's happening in Sagittarius right now. It's not happening. Not even the moon is going to visit you guys this week. But what's going on with Jupiter? Well, Jupiter is extremely active. So let's review what Jupiter's going on, what's got going on this week. Jupiter is retrograde, right? From 11 to 10 degrees Taurus this week. Jupiter is in opposition to Mars, in opposition to the Sun, and in opposition to Mercury, at least through Halloween, which is the 31st. Big ideas, big confidence, big steps forward. This is really good risk-taking energy, a good time to take risks. The only thing that you will have to ground yourself in is your morality, your standards, and your faith. So the only things. So it's a good time to take risks when intuitively you know it's the right thing to do. It is not a good time to push. It is a good time to take risks when you know it's worth it. So there's sort of like still a need for risk assessment. And I'm telling you this right now, you'll know it. This will be intuitive. This will be intuitive. You can absolutely, there could be over talk, over chattiness, or overextension of what your actual capabilities or capacities are. It is a wonderful time for you guys to be confident and to share your confidence in what you know you have proven track record with. You could also lend toward the arrogant side of over-promising. So it's very good to be constantly active and conscious of your choices right now, so you make the good ones. And allow yourself to be led by your intuition. FYI. Let's go on to the decans, shall we? If you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Sagittarius, you guys have a natal sun in the first decan, or the first group of 10 degrees of Sagittarius. So you're Sagittarius ones. Your natal suns are in a long-term sextile to Pluto and a long-term square to Saturn. Square to Saturn and sextile to Neptune basically means you are creating a disruptive energy. I'm sorry, I didn't give you your birthdays. These are Sagittarius that are born in November. So November 22nd through December 1st. That would pretty much be you guys. You're the disruptors, the ones that come in and challenge the authority, rules, laws, regulations, and different kinds of maybe contracts or obligations or debts will come up a lot here, and you could butt heads a lot with authority figures, or, you know, in terms of your job, your bosses, even a father figure. This is that energy of them constantly challenging you this year, because that square to Saturn will last a year. The sextile to Pluto will last a couple of years. And that's going to make you very disruptive. And it's like you'll be able to convince people to move in the direction you want them to move, which is why that square to Saturn for this year could be causing a lot, like rumpling a lot of feathers. After Saturn moves out of the first decan of Pisces, this won't be so intense for you. And then you'll just have that sextile to Pluto giving you this sense of personal authority and confidence that is actually very productive energy. So this week, what I would say is the energy will be impacting you with confidence, and you will want to take a lot of risks and get into a lot of people's faces and talk a lot and be heard. Fine. Just make sure you know what the fuck you're talking about. FYI. Very important, because it'll have its impact and could also come back and bite you in the ass unless you're ready. Unless you're actually prepared. In which case, fantastic. Let's move on to Sagittarius 2s. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Sagittarius, you guys are Sagittarius 2s. This correlates to Sagittarians whose birthdays are December 2nd through the 11th. So your natal suns are in a long-term trine to Chiron, which means there's a lot of healing, especially physical healing going on right now for the next year and a half. But you also have a quincunx to Jupiter. So a tendency to push yourself or overpromise could cause a little conflict, or anything that makes you feel uncomfortable could push you into wanting to overpromise or overreact. So that's something that you need to be aware of and make sure that you're in control over, so that you get yourself into the situations that are right for you, and that you're not pushed into situations simply because you've reacted. Now, because your natal suns are also within a 30-degree relationship with Mars, Mercury, and the Sun. That's a lot of accumulation of a lot of energy. There's going to be a lot of surprises, especially with your energy levels, your confidence, and the risks you're willing to take this week. So there can also be a lot of surprising information that comes up. So FYI, I don't know if this is a warning so much as just an FYI. Yeah, that's all I can really say, because I can't really predict even how it will play out, because I don't know because I don't know which house your natal sun is located in, where all this energy is playing out. So all I'm saying is expect the unexpected this week, right? And try not to put yourself into situations that are already uncomfortable for you. That's what I would say. Let's move on to Sagittarius 3s. This correlates to, so if you know your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Sagittarius, that's you guys. This correlates to birthdays between, say, the 12th and the 22nd of December. Your natal suns are in a long-term square to Neptune. That means that even though Venus isn't touching you guys, your natal suns are also square to Venus. This is a very deceptive time for you. You will buy a lot of bullshit, and you are more susceptible to being tricked or fooled or bamboozled, right? Or feel in a lot of ways like somebody has been deceptive, or get really agitated with feeling that you're being lied to. So it will pose a lot of challenges for you this week. I would not recommend getting into a new relationship this week, or dating, or doing anything to, dye your hair, or, update your look, or the look of your environment. I would not recommend doing anything like that this week, because you could fall into a lot of scams and things that don't come out with the results that you actually intended. Excuse me. There could also be a lot of deception or delusion around money right now as well. FYI. Your natal suns are trine to the North Node, so you definitely want to make changes and move forward. And you're getting a lot more comfortable with this understanding of, I want my independence. I want to be able to make my own choices and my own decisions, or I feel more comfortable doing so. I don't need to sit and rest on a relationship or a partner right now. Even though it also means your natal suns are sextile to the South Node too, which means there's opportunities in understanding, like the relationships you've had in the past, understanding yourself better, and that will encourage you on to move forward in your life in the direction that you're really inspired to go. And then we have a quincunx to Uranus, which is also long-term. Uranus being activated a lot by Mercury and all those oppositions this week. I would say that you're going to be dealing with a lot of surprises that come out of nowhere this week. And it's going to be frustrating and agitating, because it probably could be rapid fire one after the other, especially when it comes to revelations in terms of information that you didn't realize or didn't know. So there'll be a lot to think about this week, and maybe even reassess certain content or information that you've gone over before. You let me know in the comments below, Sagittarius, how this energy is impacting you guys. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and share it on your social media platforms, or with people that you know would enjoy it too. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel to help us grow. I love you guys, and I will see you in the videos. Bye. Capricorn. Okay, so what is going on in Capricorn? Pluto. That's big. You thought you were done, right? No, not so much. Well, Pluto is actually moving more toward Aquarius now, as it did post direct a couple of weeks ago. It's moving from 27 to 28 degrees Capricorn this week, so it is inching its way out. And of course gives a lot of gravitas and major metamorphic changes. And what do I say by metamorphic? Metamorphic changes aren't just changes in, preferences or changes in where you live. These are changes that you do not come back from. These are changes where once your lifestyle is changed, that's it. for the rest of your life. Like, these are big changes. Changes as in the butterfly never goes back to the caterpillar, right? It's done. So these are things that you're experiencing over the next couple of years where your life is shifting into its new form, into its new way of, into its new reality. Your reality is shifting, is kind of what I'm trying to tell you. Little stuff like that. So what is going on with your ruling dignitary Saturn? Not a lot, actually. Saturn is loosely trine to the sun until October 31st. And loosely, and when I say loosely, I mean like over 5-degree orb, right? After 10 degrees, it's not even the aspect anymore. But it's within like 7 to 8 degrees of the sun through the 31st. I don't really count it as an aspect unless it's like 5 degrees, but there's so much energy that's exciting the chart here. We're going to discuss it. So Saturn is loosely trine the sun through the 31st. It is trine the north node loosely because it's within 6 degrees, but that's permanent. Like, Saturn goes direct this week, so that's the big thing. It's like all of a sudden a part of you is going to come back online, and you're going to feel more productive, more driven, and like more personally like you need to fix stuff, right? There's a sense of Saturn going back online, and Saturn is the OSHA representative, right? He is that energy of, I'm checking up on standards. Have we maintained standards while I was taking a vacation? Because if so, I'm about to go through all these emails. You know, it's like work now will intensify as well. But it's almost like you'll have more intensity toward work. So it's within 6 degrees of the North Node, meaning 6-degree trine of the North Node, meaning I'm happy to move forward. I'm happy I'm actually more comfortable now with maybe being more independent or working more on my own, since the North Node is in Aries, than I have been for a while or ever before. Or maybe I'm more comfortable moving to a new place or a new position, or taking on some like personal responsibility all by myself. All of those things are becoming more easy or more interesting to that Saturnian energy now, doing things in a way that we had not done before, maybe ways that we said we'd never do. We're easing more toward that. Saturn is also in a long-term semi-square to Chiron, which could just be a long-term irritant, and I got to improve things. I don't feel like I'm doing good enough. I don't feel like I'm doing enough. That may not be true, but it is certainly something that will kind of needle you or nag you to continue to push you forward. So let's break everything into the decans. We have Decan 1. If you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Capricorn, you guys are Capricorn 1s. This correlates to birthdays, basically December. Christmas time babies. December 22nd through December 31st. That would be in and around your birth dates. Your natal suns are in a long-term sextile to Saturn, will be up through, I think, March of next year. This is very productive energy. And over the year, the course of this past year into the beginning of next year, you guys will take leaps forward when it comes to your career. It doesn't mean you won't have experienced steps back. But overall, there will be a sort of an uptick or opportunities that are opening when it comes to your career or what you're making of yourself in the world. This week is a tricky week for you because there's a semi-square, and I know that's a minor aspect, but because there's such an accumulation of them, I got to talk about it with you. We have, because Mars, Mercury, and the Sun are all conjunct in Scorpio, your natal suns are semi-square to Mars, semi-square to Mercury, semi-square to the Sun, at least by the 3rd of this month. The 3rd of November, you will be semi-square to the Sun. And between the 1st and 2nd, your natal suns will be in opposition to the Moon. This could be a time of tremendous energy release or final encouragement to get out of the safety zone, the comfort zone, take risks that you normally wouldn't, any kind of agitation or irritation to inspire you to be more productive and get things going. Energy to get things going, put things in motion or talking. People may piss you off more with what they say, and that could also spur you into just wanting to stir things up and switch things up and take some action. Could be a very productive week, Could also be a very pop-offish week for you. Depends on how you use the energy. But with that sextile to Saturn, I think productivity could be very high this week, especially when you start to learn things but it'll come through irritation. Things that piss you off, be like, okay, I'm just going to get this done right. That kind of energy. Let's go on to Capricorn 2s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Capricorn, you guys are Capricorn 2. This correlates to Capricornian birthdays between January 1st and the 11th. So there's a lot happening with you guys. A lot. So you have a long-term semi-square to Saturn, right? Which is a minor aspect, but a long-term square to Chiron as well. And that's difficult because it's always challenging your sense of self-worth or, productivity. This sense of, why can't I do anything right? Or why does nothing really work out for me? Those kind of pessimistic thoughts can creep in a lot more heavily under those aspects. And this is over the next year. So be mindful of it so that it's really just there to try to make you grow and see where you can improve, not to discourage you. Between the 2nd and 3rd of this week, the moon is going to be in opposition to your natal suns. This represents a day of release and a willingness to let go or express your emotions. So emotions can be coming out a lot more for you on November 2nd to the 3rd. Your natal suns are in a long-term trine to Jupiter, so everything is more exaggerated and more important and more imminent. Like, we've got to get things, I've got to take action now, I've got to be seen now, see me now, I want to grow, I want to be curious. This is definitely a growth energy for you guys, to inspire you, to kick you out of your comfort zone. In fact, to make your comfort zone things that you've never done before, or new information or new belief systems that you could get exposed to. This is especially why this week is big for you. Your natal sun is sextile to Mercury, sextile to Mars, and by the 2nd, it will be sextile to the sun. It's sextile to Mercury through the 3rd. So definitely on like the 2nd, 3rd, when the moon is in opposition to your natal sun, this is going to be a big day for you to just try things and push yourself and open up doors for an opportunity for you. Talk about it, learn information about it so that you can take action, talk to somebody about it, have a conversation, not take bullshit, and put yourself out there. This is an especially powerful day for you. Optimism and mental acuity is going to be really high this week. So being seen and being heard can present a lot of opportunities to you this week. This is a great week for advancement or opportunities, or for finally saying what you needed to fucking say. FYI. Let's move on to Capricorn 3s. This correlates to birthdays between January 12th through the 22nd. You guys would be Capricorn 3s. It is between the 3rd and the 4th of November that your natal suns will be in opposition to the moon. But remember, you're the ones that are also conjunct to Pluto. So the moon isn't just opposite your natal suns, it's opposite Pluto. That means that this is an especially emotional, powerful, and potent emotions for you that might just come ripping out of you on those two, like between those 2 days. Like it's at between the 3rd, midday of the 3rd to midday of the 4th. That would be just highly volatile. You'll be more emotional and more volatile because of your emotions around that time. That's an FYI. You have a long-term trine to Uranus and a long-term sextile to Neptune, which means a lot of innovation and changes along with that conjunction to Pluto. A lot of innovations and changes are going to be happening in your life right now, to the point where you will be reconstructing yourself, who you are, how you see the world and how you interact with it, and even your life purpose is being reconstructed right now. It's being innovated. It's being innovated instead of just renovated. This is your butterfly moment over the next couple of years, where you really will change and become the next level of yourself, to the point where you will not come back. That's what's happening. For you guys, there's a trine to Uranus, but there's also a trine to Venus this week. So you are more inclined to desire something new to be curious about, have different sexual proclivities, I'm just going to say it, to desire a different romantic partner, you will be more, it'll be easier for you to step out of your committed relationship now than it ever is. And I'm not saying you're going to, but it's definitely this energy of you could see why somebody would need to, or maybe you want to try something that's outside the norm. If you love your current partner, this is definitely a time to encourage them or invite them along with you on your explorations, as opposed to doing it without them, because that could end up with long-term suffering. But this is just a sense of consent is really necessary, and so is being honest in your desires. The sextile to Mercury, that's by the end of this week, the last 2 days of this week, will make you very, very talkative, and helpful information can come out around that time to really open up some doors for you. It's like information that you finally needed coming through so that you can finally take action or say something or tell somebody something, report something, or know something that's useful to you. So there's a lot of energy here around finally taking that step toward asserting your independence and your sense of newness, freshness, and a difference. So there's an openness about you here and a malleability that is not normal for your character, but it's a part of growth, and it's a part of you moving to the person that you're becoming as opposed to the person that you were. And you'll really feel this active right now, especially in your sexual relationships and your finances, because Venus is pointing out how all those other outer energies are really impacting you right now. You're going to really see it start to play out in those Venetian controlled aspects of life, like desire and what you value and what turns you on and what all of those things. You're going to really start to see the shift in yourself working through that now. FYI, you let me know in the comments below, Capricorn, if any of this applies or how you have felt these energies and changes. Yeah, I love you guys. Please remember to like this video if you've enjoyed it, and share it with people that you know would enjoy it and get something out of it too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel before you click off, and I'll see you guys in the videos. Bye, guys. All right, Pisces. This is for the week of October 29th through November 4th. Let's get into what's happening in the zodiac sign of Pisces. Saturn and Neptune. Now, that's been consistent, and Saturn will be there, I think, through March of next year. There is a big event that happens with Saturn this week, which is that Saturn goes direct at the very end of this week, on the 4th. So all week long, Saturn is at 0 degrees Pisces. It's stationary, so it's not really, doesn't appear to be moving much. And then it's going to post direct on the 4th. This is really great energy because Saturn's coming back online, and it doesn't take a lot of crap. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it will start enforcing the rules, enforcing the laws. When it's in retrograde, there's a little lackadaisical energy. People get away with a lot. But Saturn, it's more, okay, are things running the way that they should? Is everything correct? So we also have Neptune at 25 degrees Pisces, which is the completely opposite energy, super infusing Pisces 3s with tremendous intuitive and creative capabilities. And that will be, like I said, Neptune will be in the 3rd decan of Pisces for another couple of years. So that's long term. It really will shape you by awakening you to your dream state, and what that can mean for your external extrasensory capabilities, as well as your creative energies, which is really what you want to tap into. So let's talk about your ruling dignitaries. We'll review Jupiter, which is your traditional ruler. Jupiter is going to be retrograding between 11 and 10 degrees Taurus. It is also extraordinarily active right now. We know that it was active during the full moon that just passed on the 28th. all this week it's going to touch everything in Scorpio, which is Mars, the Sun, and Mercury. So it's opposite Mars, it's opposite the Sun, it's opposite Mercury through Halloween. So big ideas, big confidence, and big steps forward, risk taking. It's a good time to take risks, especially if Jupiter is highly influential. This sense of knowing and understanding and being willing to actually not just grow and expand through education, but through doing, through practical interactions. We also have Neptune, which is your modern ruler and your main ruler. It's in Pisces, so it's at home at 25 degrees. There's a grand trine that's happening with Neptune and Mercury and the Moon on the 3rd of this week. So that should be really interesting, because Neptune and the Moon are very dreamy energies. They're very romantic energies, but they're also delusional energies. But with Mercury thrown in the mix, there is an inference of infusion of intellect, as well as tangible, practical knowledge. So there is this energy on the 11th that is really beautiful, with this being able to intellectually comprehend or communicate something that had been prior untangible. And I love this energy. Now, Neptune is actually trine to Mercury most of the week, and it's in opposition to Venus all week long. I would be lying. We talked about that in the big stuff if I said that that wasn't a potentially mischievous energy. It is a very creative energy, beautifully creative, very inspirational. And the thing, any interaction with Neptune and Venus, there's just such grace and elegance involved in creativity, almost like natural gifts. But it can also be very deceptive and distracting and easily vulnerable to not inquiring or looking into things as much as you should. Falling in love with the dream instead of checking to see if there's a reality that it's tethered to. So definitely use this energy this week, especially Pisces 3s, because you're conjunct to Neptune, and all your natal suns are opposite Venus all week long. The opposition with Venus does imply that this is not a great time for dating, and it's not a great time for redoing your aesthetics, but it is a great time for allowing yourself to come up with spectacular ideas, to start to work on them and allow yourself to create. That's a very good time for this. It is also a time for kind of growth through your intuition, but not through your feelings. And you could get over emotional right now. I just love that November 11th energy, because there seems to be clarity that comes through there. So at least through Mercury, through that trine to Mercury. And since Neptune is trine to Mercury most of the week, or no, I think it's not trine to Mercury until the end of the week on November 11th. And it also has to come into trine with the Moon on November 11th as well. That's really interesting. Ground yourself with water. Ground yourself by the water. Ground yourself by the water and land if you can visit the beach or a calm river that you can step in. It's like have one foot on the land, or your bottom on the land and your feet in the water. That kind of energy, I think, is really going to be helpful to help conduct the flow in an intuitively progressive way, or peaceful way, healing way, as opposed to a confused and distracted way. Let's get into the decans. So if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Pisces, it's in the first 10 degrees or decan of Pisces. So you guys are Pisces 1. This correlates to birthdays that are in February, pretty much February 20th through, say, March 1st, in and around those days would be about you guys. And I know sometimes Pisces season starts on February 19th as well. Absolutely, that would include you guys too. Your natal suns are conjunct to Saturn, which goes direct on the 11th. I'm telling you, you are really the most rational right now, or you feel the most restricted in terms of who you are, maybe by your own personally imposed restrictions. When Saturn goes direct, this is going to intensify, as well as your drive to get things done, but do it in a legal and strategic, practical way. That's actually really nice energy, because I think it grounds that Piscean sun and allows this beautiful energy of being able to actually take our dreams and figure out how to build them into reality. Create, but realistically into reality. So that's actually really beautiful energy. But you also have a trine to the sun through the 11th, through the 1st of this week. That gives you an easement with how you feel about yourself, a level of confidence, and maybe even courage. So this is actually a highly productive energy for you to have confidence to get things done, and definitely share your ideas, because you'll be able to do it in a practical fashion. You'll be taking things more seriously. You will, but in a productive way. I like that energy. So then we have Pisces 2. And that's for those of you whose natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Pisces, which correlates to birthdays between March 2nd and the 11th. Your natal suns are sextile to Jupiter, which is a very benefic and optimistic energy. Also a lot of luck and fortune when it comes to taking on opportunities, right? Like expanding, growing. This is exciting energy, and it lasts for a while, so it's not going anywhere. You know, it's like it may not happen to you this week, but it's over the next couple of months that the momentum toward expansion is impacting you. We also have a trine to Mercury, trine to Mars, and a trine to the Sun starting on the 1st, starting at the end of the week. This is really productive energy, because it's almost like your mind and your body are harmonious with your ego and your sense of purpose. There is this really productive and capable energy about you right now, and that semi-square to Pluto that you guys have, it's long term, can really supercharge you. And even though you may feel like a pebble in people's shoe, this week you will figure out a way to make things work. It's a great time for communication. It's a great time for taking tests or really using your mind and your body together. This is a beautiful energy for that. Let's go on to Pisces 3. So Pisces 3, if you know your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Pisces, you guys are Pisces 3. This correlates to birthdays between March 12th and the 22nd, in and around those dates. Your natal suns are the ones that are conjunct to Neptune. So for the next couple of years, it's like your psychic gifts are turning on. Right? It's also like your creative gifts are turning on. We also have, but this week, the opposition to Venus. So that can be very distracted. You could get very distracted when it comes to love and relationships, to the point where you are letting everything else in your life slip. You could also get very distracted when it comes to impressing people or looking the right way and not pleasing yourself. So it's not the best time to redo or change your hair or anything like that. This will super infuse your creative energy and talents and skills with a grace and elegance that will attract people, but make sure it's grounded in skills that you've worked on and practiced, and you're improving with this energy, as opposed to thinking that you have it before you actually do. We have a sextile to Uranus that's long term, which is independence and optimistic curiosities when it comes to how you express yourself and how you see yourself with the rest of the world and the interests that you have. So it is quite clever energy. We also have a sextile to Pluto. This is all about permanent, ingenuitive, and metamorphic change, right? It's almost like you guys are ground zero or would have a high understanding, intuitive understanding of where the world is going, right? So especially if you've had any like predictions or anything like that, I would share them. I would make videos about them. This is an energy of real understanding about the direction in which the world is heading, because it's these interactions between Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune that are really reconstructing the reality that we're going to be experiencing on Earth over the next decade. Just an FYI. But for you personally, this is going to innovate who you are. This is going to change who you are. Don't expect to come out on the other side of this as the same person or what you saw yourself as. And I think you are just really expanding in your own capacities. And that's wonderful. We also have a trine to Mercury that starts on the 3rd. So that trine to Mercury that starts on the 3rd is accompanied by also the moon being trine to Neptune and your natal suns as well. So this is a highly psychic day, but a day, because there's that trine to Mercury, where you will really be able to articulate and understand what you have been intuiting for a while. So expect that to be a very expressive day, a very fluent day with being able to communicate as well as translate your intuitions and ideas, creative ideas, be able to communicate it and articulate it in a way that will make sense to everybody else as well. I love you guys so much. Please remember to like this video and share it with people that you know would like it too. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, why not? Please subscribe as we build out over here on Astrology Motivation. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye. All right. Let's go on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, what's happening in the zodiac sign of Aquarius? Nothing. There's really no major planetary aspects or planetary bodies or luminaries in Aquarius this week. But there is a lot going on with your natal, with your ruling dignitaries. So let's start with Saturn. Saturn is loosely trine to the sun through Halloween, which is a very productive energy and confident, as well as disciplined and mature. You can get anything done with this energy. And then we also have a trine to the North Node. It's within, I said 6 degrees, within a 6-degree trine. So sort of a loose trine with the North Node. So this is productive energy, looking toward the future, ready to mature and take more responsibility with your own life. And then there's also a long-term, we've talked about this before, semi-square to Chiron, which really just eggs you on, this sense of, am I good enough? You know, will I live up? And it could just be inspiration to move you forward and not let you settle, which can be very good. It can also be discouraging, so it really depends on how you use the energy. Let's talk about the decans, shall we? So you know how all of this big energy is impacting. I'm sorry, let's not skip Uranus. Uranus is your ruling dignitary, your modern ruler. So Uranus is at 21 degrees Taurus. It's still in retrograde. It will be until the beginning of next year. Uranus is trine to Venus this week. So there is a lot of innovation when it comes to what you desire. Wanting to try new things, wanting to date new people, wanting to try different aesthetics, as well as being innovative with finances. This is a really experimental energy. It's a very creative energy. It could be a little bit mischievous as well. Anything with Uranus, there could be a lot of surprises here when it comes to your finances or your romantic life. Because it's a trine, it will usually ease things out and help to heal things. But you never know. Uranus, as of the 1st of November, is going to be in opposition to Mercury. Now, what this means is extraordinarily innovative energy and clever energy. Really, really expansive, and there's a lot of surprises that will come up, that will be articulated, especially because Mercury is in Scorpio. Forget about it. A lot of people are going to get a lot of shock starting the 1st of November through the end of this week into next week, just an FYI. And especially you guys will feel that. And then we'll have, we have Uranus in opposition to Mars by the 4th. So by the end of this week, Uranus is going to be opposite Mars and Mercury. There's a lot of surprising action that's going to be taken based on information that finally comes out. And this could be nuclear. I'm just letting everybody know, just an FYI, when it comes to you guys, it will definitely impact it's like your decisions to go, to move forward, to change things, and to claim your independence and individuality. Just an FYI. Could be big. Let's go into the decans. So if you know your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Aquarius, it's in the first 10 degrees or decan of Aquarius. So your birthdays would correlate more toward the end of January. So it would be like January 22nd through the 31st. That would be Aquarius ones. Your natal suns are the ones conjunct to Pluto, and Pluto's actually direct now, and it's moved to 28 degrees Capricorn from 27 degrees Capricorn. So Pluto is inching back more toward Aquarius, and which will end up and stay next year for the next 13 years or something like that. So when I say it's getting more intense, the changes in your life, the changes in your character, the changes in your personality, and the gravity with which you attract things to yourself is intensifying. And then we have a square to the sun through the 1st of November. So there can be a lot of conflicts with, butting heads with other people's egos, or feeling a little more arrogant and less confident this week, simply because of this energy of the clash of the sun. So the challenge between, like, who am I? What is my purpose? As well as, am I asserting it most productively? Those kind of questions can come up. It is a week of self-care and mantras and meditation to help ground yourself in self-love. FYI. Let's go on to Aquarius 2s. If you know your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Aquarius, this would be you guys. This correlates to, and this is an estimate, it correlates to birthdays between February 1st and the 10th or 11th. Your natal suns all week are square to Jupiter, square to Mars, square to Mercury, and by the 2nd, they'll be square to the sun. This is going to be a challenging week, especially the end of the week. Will be super challenging for you. You'll see a lot of conflict, a lot of things that you don't necessarily want to hear or want to believe or want to do. A square between Mars and your sun can be very dangerous. It can be very reactionary. It can also be an energy that spurs you to action and to say something or know something. So it will really definitely challenge your set of ethics with what to do with this energy. But it is super intense and not something you can put to sleep, because Jupiter is there square as well. And ultimately, Aquarius, it's just requiring you to pay. Squares require you to pay attention, because it's gonna get worse, more challenging, the more you try to shove it under the carpet. So don't try to shove this stuff under the carpet. Address these challenges, address these difficult conversations, address this more angry, intense energy, address this feeling of wanting to expand and move forward but not being allowed to be. Address it with as much mental clarity and objectivity as you can. And with all these squares, it is also a really good week to give yourself a little extra meditation energy, meditation time. Give yourself a little extra, like, take a breath before you respond. Take a bath. Give yourself a spa day if you can. Like, self-care and grounding is really good for you guys right now, just to help you remain as objective and clear-minded as possible. You also have that sextile to Chiron, which is long-term, making you want to change things and want to change things for the better, to improve your situation based on all the crap you've experienced and to help others as well. You also have a semi-square. Your natal suns are semi-square to Neptune, which means that you have some creative insights here that are egging you on and pushing you forward. And if things aren't living up to the way you dream them, then, or the way, the way intuitively you know or feel they should, things will become more intense and they'll agitate you even more. So trust your intuition this week as well. Let's move on to Aquarius 3. So if you know your natal suns are between 20 and 29 degrees Aquarius, you guys are Aquarius 3. This correlates to Aquarian birthdays between, say, I think it's like February 10th or 11th through the 19th, 20th, since February does end a little bit early. So there is that energy of, right, that's fine. It would be in and around those birth dates. Your natal suns are sextile to the North Node and trine to the South Node. That means that you are moving forward in your life and you're looking forward to it. You're actually excited by it. You know there are opportunities. It's like you want to engage with life more and take more conscious action to doing things. And there is a peace with the past or help that's coming out of the past that is allowing you to move forward productively. That's really nice energy. We also have a square to Uranus, which is tough because it's your ruling dignitary. It's kind of like fighting a part of yourself. You could feel really challenged for the next year and a half. Challenges with regards to self-expression or independence, or wanting your life to change and wanting to innovate your life, but not feeling like you can, or just things not letting up, pressure not letting up until you find a way to do it. This is a time for ingenuity, but engineering your own self, like allowing yourself to broaden and experiment with different aspects of your talents, your skills, your capabilities, as well as other opportunities and possibilities. You guys especially might have some challenging energy this week with your romantic relationship, since Uranus is trine to Venus. There is this energy of you might want to start trying new things, trying new sexy time things, or you'll be more inclined to step out of your relationship right now. So just be aware of the energy. I'm not saying you have to, but it is about. And then you have a quincunx to Venus, which means that there's something with your desires that is like almost putting a spur in your side. You want to act upon them. So it's going to be super challenging energy for you this week. You know, not to change things or try new things. And maybe you should. If you're in a position where it won't ruin your life, maybe you should, right? And if you are in a relationship that you value, it will be tempting to step outside of it this week. You could also invite your current partner into trying different things with you. Hopefully that won't upset them, but it's like, you know, we kind of either got to be together on this or there's going to be extra strain. Just letting you know that the energy is real. All right, guys, I love you so much. Please remember to like this video and share it with people that you know would enjoy it or get something from it, like be interested in it, you know? And then if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so we can build and grow and add more content over here to Astrology Motivation. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next week. Let's move on, Aries. All right, Aries. For October 29th through November 4th, what is going on with you guys? Well, we have Chiron at 16 degrees and the North Node at 24 degrees. Chiron is retrograding. And the North Node is retrograding too. It usually does. The North Node will continue to retrograde. So now it's more kind of in the center, like right in the middle. It's less near the cusp. Now it will really be impacting all of you to become way more independent and way more in charge and control and conscious of your own life and its own, like creating your life in your image, that kind of energy. Let's talk about what Mars is doing. Mars is doing a lot. Mars is in Scorpio, so it's very powerful. It's very intense. It's very stubborn, but it's very driven and willful. It's also forthright. Even though it's in Scorpio, it just has this gravity to it. We have conjunction to the Sun and conjunction to Mercury pretty much all week long. There's an opposition to Jupiter all week long. And by the 4th, Mars will be in loose conjunction with Uranus as well. So Mars is getting shit done and not settling down. Mars wants to actually innovate and take action. It's going to infuse you guys with a mentality of not taking any shit, and I will move forward. And it's a good week for you to actually act upon it. Let's break things down into the decan, shall we? So if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Aries, you are Aries 1. This correlates to birthdays between March, it's the end of March. So March 22nd to March 31st, in and around those dates, that would be Aries 1. So your natal suns are quincunx the sun through the 2nd. So you could be an extra agitated when it comes to people trying to tell you something about yourself, or people taking you wrong and misinterpreting you wrong. You could be really incited to action because of those things, and a little bit more egotistical this week. Just an FYI. You also have a long-term sextile to Pluto, but this is just the cusp. So this would be those of you born around March 22nd, March 23rd. This sextile to Pluto is really creating a dynamic in your energy that will get things done even if you don't have to try that hard. You'll have a gravity that people will respond to and open doors for, just so they don't have to take shit. So it can be a highly productive energy for you for the next year or so. Let's move on to Aries 2. If your natal suns are between 10 and 19 degrees Aries, this would be you guys. This correlates to birthdays between, say, April 1st and the 11th. So your natal suns are the ones conjunct to Chiron, which means that it's a transformative energy where you will feel like stuff from the past constantly coming up, to put it to bed, to face it, to learn from it, and incorporate it into a stronger version of yourself. You also may feel yourself more driven than ever to stick up for other people, to make sure that they don't have to suffer the same pain. And it's interesting how you can learn by teaching others and hear what you need to hear for yourself in the advice that you give to others. So pay close attention to that. You also have a semi-square to Saturn. So this feeling of, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? What should I do about this? You'll be challenging your own sense of self. I don't think this is as much depressing energy as it is energy that ensures that you continue to hold yourself to high standards. This week is a challenging week because your natal suns are quincunx to Mars, quincunx to Mercury, and quincunx the sun. So there is this energy of, honestly, like, you want to move forward. You want to take action. You're tired of sitting in the same place, and you're tired of not being heard. So there is this energy of, especially by the end of the week, I will not be seen. I need to express myself and to get myself out there and put myself out there. Do it. You'll feel a lot of agitation if you don't. Just an FYI. With that quincunx to Mars, you also want to check your anger and impulsivity levels. It is a good time to take action and to get into your body and mind at the same time. It's a bad idea to push yourself in directions that could cause a great deal of physical injury. Just an FYI. Let's move on to Aries 3. If you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Aries, you guys are Aries 3. This correlates to birthdays, say, from April 12th through the 22nd. You guys are conjunct the North Node. Your natal suns are conjunct the North Node. So you are all about the future. You're all about claiming your own sense of independence and being able to go it alone and try things by yourself and like determine your own life. You're in opposition to the South Node. So if there's a natural distance between you and where you came from right now, it's just how things are for the next couple of months. You really want to declare your independence. This is almost like when you're a teenager. This sense of, I don't want anything to do with my past. I want to be all about where I'm conducting my future and the decisions I make to do it. So that energy is just what you're going through right now for the next couple of months. We also have a sextile to Saturn, so this is highly productive over the next year. There is breakthroughs when it comes to your career capabilities, your ability to earn money or really establish yourself. This is really mature energy. You're taking a step in your life that is very self-determined, and you'll see a lot of growth and a lot of advancement in your life over this next year. For this week, your natal suns are quincunx to Venus, which means that your relationships can be giving you some agitation, and so could your finances. This agitation is meant for you to pay attention and figure out what might be wrong, but also to inspire you to make different choices, but hopefully the correct ones. So research, study, get to understand why you're agitated, and then innovate and change. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you've enjoyed this information. If you know somebody that you know would enjoy it too, please share this video with them. Get them to come on over to Astrology Motivation and subscribe to the channel so we can grow over here. Don't forget to like this video after you've enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the videos. Bye, Aries. Okay. So Taurus, what's up, Taurus? This is for the week of October 29th through November 4th. What is happening in the zodiac sign of Taurus? A lot. We have Jupiter that is retrograding from 11 to 10 degrees. And then we also have Uranus at 21 degrees. So there's a lot of growth, expansion, and innovation in an energy that doesn't really like to move. That means our traditional structures and our traditional sense of ethics are changing. They themselves are innovating. What's going on with your ruling? If you are in the second decan, your natal sun is in the second decan of Taurus. It is conjunct to Jupiter. This is growth, expansion, but also could be arrogance and egotisticalness. We'll get into it. If you are in the third decan of Uranus, but especially if your birthdays are kind of like, say, between almost like the 9th or 10th through the 15th, it's you guys especially who your natal suns are conjunct to Uranus right now, since it's right at the edge of the third decan. It's you guys especially. This is all about claiming your own sense of uniqueness and like really stepping outside of your box, because you don't want to be associated with anything that is the norm or the expected or predictable. So you could become very unpredictable right now. Just an FYI, you could also become a rebel without a clue, right? There is that energy of just rebelling for rebellion's sake, as opposed to actually like having a purpose. So that could be to the point of distraction as well. Let's go on to what the heck Venus is doing. It's your ruling dignitary. Let's talk about her. She is still in Virgo. She is moving between 20 and 26 degrees Virgo, so the third decan of Virgo, and she's in opposition to Neptune all week long. This is very distracting, very delusional, but exceptionally romantic and extraordinarily creative. So you take or leave it, but the energy is there. Oppositions are never easy to deal with. It's not opposite your sun. It's just what's happening to your ruling dignitary. So your creative juices could really be turned on, but to the point of distraction this week. Your desires and your need for luxury or indulgences could also be turned on this week, but to the point of distraction. Just an FYI, it's not a great time to redo your hair or anything, because you'd probably take it to the extreme. That looked wonderful while you did it, but after this opposition to Neptune ends at the end of the week, you'll be like, what the hell did I do? So try hard not to spend too much money or be creative on a canvas. Don't be creative with your body. This is the time you get the tattoo you regret. You know what I'm saying? She's also trine to Pluto and trine to Uranus right now, so there's lots of innovations here. There's lots of intensity, obsessiveness, but also a need to change, a need to switch it up, a need to feel differently or desire things that you, maybe they're a little darker, maybe they're a little more taboo. They're definitely out of the ordinary. So she is highly active this week and very distractible. Venus is also semi-square to the sun. So she's challenging how you feel about yourself. She's challenging what you think is desirable about who you are, right? There's a lot of things that she is challenging right now, but once again, highly creative. There is a square between Venus and the moon on Halloween. Let me say this to you. With all that energy with Venus, the fact that she's squared to the moon on Halloween, that is a night of bad choices and decisions. That's all I'm trying to say. It's going to be fun, but you're going to pray that nobody has recorded it and posted it on Facebook. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay? It is like Venus gone wild. Girl gone wild. That's kind of what it is on the 31st. Girl gone wild. So put your cameras away, motherfuckers. It's not going to be pretty. It's probably going to be fun, but I honestly think there could be a lot of regret on the other side of it as well. Just an FYI. You probably should stay inside that day, but you're not going to want to. You're not going to want to. This is like Howl at the Moon, kind of like, I need to take my titties out. That's the kind of energy it is. I'm not kidding. Let's go into the decans, shall we? If you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Taurus, you guys are Taurus ones. This correlates to birthdays between, they're basically April Tauruses. So say April 22nd through, is it through May 1st? Yeah, through May 1st. Your natal suns are in opposition to the sun through the 2nd. The 2nd of November. This could be a very challenging beginning of the week for you simply because you're not going to have the confidence levels or energy levels that you normally do. That's okay. It will pass. Just remember to be compassionate with yourself. We also have a sextile to Saturn Taurus ones that is really fucking productive. Like, absolutely take it when you can get it, because that is such a beautiful year of productivity and personal expansion and advancement into your career and establishing yourself for who you are. It is really a blessed energy, but it's not like it happens this week. It happens week over about 53, 54 weeks. So it's a good year for career advancement especially. And then this week, by the 31st, so by Halloween, your natal suns are going to be trine to Venus. Bitch, you're going to be howling at the fucking moon with your titties out. That is exactly what you're going to be doing this week. I don't even know how to save you, except just put your cameras away and don't let anybody record shit. There's also, try to put your credit card away. Like, do not overspend. Those are the things. It's going to be fun, though. I'm just letting you know. Beautiful time for romance. Actually, beautiful time for, getting kinky and letting yourself feel free. A very, very sense of beauty. Like a sense of, like, just natural attractiveness and energy to you. Very lovely energy, but indulgent energy. Something to try to monitor as much as you can, but the party is upon us, is all I'm trying to say. Let's go on to Taurus 2. This is, also, let me say this, Taurus 1, you may very well cheat. This is an energy where fidelity is tough. If you're single, it's going to be a lot of fun. You could meet somebody that's actually wonderful for you. But your current relationship, like, make sure you're partying with them. They're partying with you. This could be very, very sensual and romantic and amazing. But also, this is a very flirtatious energy. I just can't not say it. Let's move on to Taurus 2. If you know your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Taurus, you guys are Taurus too. So this is... birthdays, say, between May 2nd through the 11th, in and around that time would be Taurus 2. your natal suns are the ones conjunct to Jupiter. So big heads, right? Wanting to rush forward, thinking, expecting the best, really optimistic, but you get ahead of yourself real easily here. So it's kind of like ground yourself and try to keep yourself humble so that you can use the optimism to actually expand yourself instead of thinking that you did just because you tried something once. Just an FYI. We have a trine to Venus starting the 31st. So I'm going to say the same thing that I said to Taurus twos. This is a party, like batshit crazy, wild woman, titties out, credit cards out kind of week. It's indulgent. It is super glamorous. It's gracious. It's attractive. It's sexy. It can also be quite distracted. It can also be overindulgent, and it can be mischievous. So just understand that you're going to have a good time. You're going to feel good. You're going to look good. This actually is a wonderful time to meet people. But it's happening alongside of a lot of other energies. So let's get to them all and then do the grand sum. We have an opposition to Mars, an opposition to Mercury, and an opposition to the Sun by November 2nd. So I can tell you, especially toward the end of the week, this is stimulation to change, to take actions, to take risks, and you should. And the charismatic help you're getting from Venus is going to help make you appealing in every direction that you try. So this cumulative energy is definitely trying to stimulate you to move forward. It's a good time to do so. Absolutely. Taurus 3. If your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Taurus, you guys are Taurus 3. This correlates to birthdays between, say, May 12th and the 22nd of May. Your natal suns are the ones conjunct to Uranus. So this is a time of personal innovation and change, as well as insisting upon your own independence and individuality. You won't want to be what you've been. You will want to innovate who you are. We have a trine to Pluto, which means metamorphic change, as well as being ready for it, being ready to let yourself transform. And then a long-term sextile to Neptune, which is wonderful creativity and dynamic expansion through creativity. Oh, that's over the next couple of years. This week, from the 30th of October on, your natal suns are going to be trine to Venus. Once again, this is that titties out energy. This is the grace and attractiveness, flirtatiousness. This is a beautiful time to go get your hair done. It is also overindulgent and hypersexualized. So there is this energy of just be aware that this energy is around. It's actually really graceful and very beautiful. I don't think it's a bad thing. There's just so many other stubborn energies around that this is it's just going to be a wild week for you guys. We have we also have an opposition to Mercury by the 2nd of November. So especially toward the end of the week, you guys want change. You guys want innovation. You guys are speaking like mathematical tongues. You guys, your minds are open, and surprising things could come out of your mouth, as well as surprising information could come into you. There's a lot of surprises, especially when Mercury and Uranus hook up. So there is this energy of what you say may really cause some tension right now. What you discover or find out could cause tension too. This is an informative week, a week where you will be pushed to, because of new information or the different way of looking at things, change things up and switch it up. This could be a time of impulsive change, where you want to change back after the aspect is done. This might not last that long. So I think the biggest challenge for you guys this week will be to think through what I'm about to do. Do I just want to ease this impulse, or do I know that now I'm on to something and I need to say it, discuss it, or look into it further. So taking time to just, before you make your choices, count to 10 or exhale can really help with this energy to ground you and help you make the best choices. FYI. I love you guys so much, and I hope this has helped you. If you know somebody else who would love it, please share it with them. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can grow here on Astrology Motivation. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the videos. Gemini. Okay, what's going on in Gemini from October 29th through November 4th of 2023? Well, nothing, actually, except the moon. The moon does come to visit between the 29th, so the beginning of this week, through the 31st. So if you are Gemini 1s, born late May, pretty much, your natal suns are going to be conjunct the moon right after that beautiful full moon in Taurus. So you're still going to get some of that energy on the 29th. So let's go into what is going on with Mercury. Okay. Mercury is in Scorpio, and it's going to travel between 12 and 22 degrees Scorpio. It is conjunct to Mars all week long. It is in opposition to Jupiter through the 31st, so through Halloween, which tends to make people want to run their mouths a lot or talk bigger than they can actually live up to. And then by the 1st of November, rabbit, remember to say it, Mercury is in opposition to Uranus. Now this is a really interesting kind of mashup, because Mercury and Uranus are kind of higher and lower forms of the same energy, which is intellect and thought. So Mercury is the day-to-day pragmatism and communications, and Uranus is the genius outside of the box. What can we do with mathematics? The creation. It's like how we take the ether, the Pisces energy, the Neptunian energy, and turn it into a form that we can work with within the conceptual reality that we live in every day. So when the two of them are opposed, they're constantly stimulating each other. So this is huge breakthroughs in thoughts and technology. We can even say it. We can even talk about it. But also this sense of surprise. So with Mercury also still being, or having been in opposition to Jupiter all week, still being conjunct Mars, we can very much, by the end of the week, so from November 11th through the 14th, you can find yourself very much saying things that surprise you, coming up with things that surprise you, getting into conversations that really surprise you, or that you're surprised by what information comes out in them. Just an FYI. Let's go into the decans, shall we? So Decan 1, if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Gemini, you are Decan 1s or Gemini 1s. This correlates to birthdays between, say, May 22nd and June and May 31st, pretty much. On the 29th, the moon conjuncts your sun, still with that beautiful energy from the full moon. It is really tremendously like truth-telling in a way, a fullness, a feeling of being confident enough to know what to let go of and because what you don't need anymore. We also have a long-term square to Saturn, which does, over the course of this year through, I think, March of 2024, really put a lot of grind into what you're trying to build, or you're feeling responsibility after responsibility being dumped on you. But it really is in preparation to make you stronger and make you realize how much you can take, and to pick up lessons along the way that you're going to need. This week you have a trine to Venus, which makes you naturally beautiful and appealing, have an actual elegance to the way that you present, the way that you talk, the way that you walk. This is a beautiful time for days of beauty, going shopping. You can be a little bit more indulgent during this time, but it is actually quite creative energy and a helpful energy, Gemini. And with you, there is this energy of really being able to eloquently communicate your ideas. As of the 2nd of November, your natal suns will quincunx the current sun, which means that through your ego, you're going to feel sort of spurs in your side that are going to tell you, well, I need to get this done. I need to take action on this. Because ultimately, in other words, people rubbing your ego the wrong way or making you feel like they're challenging you a lot. I think it's what I'm trying to say is it's just a sign. It's an impulse that's telling you got to do something about these situations, because it won't happen to you everywhere. It will only happen to you with situations where you really need to take notice and something's really, it needs to be addressed there. And then we have a trine to Pluto only if you're at the cusp. So that's May 22nd, 23rd. The trine to Pluto also gives your natal suns a brilliance and power that is gravity itself. It is magnetism. So you will have a natural magnetism. And with that trine to Venus this week, this could be a very sexual, powerful, potent week for you, where you're just able to get anybody to do what you want because they naturally trust you, they naturally trust your authority, and you have a natural attractiveness about you. So this could be a very productive week, FYI. Let's go on to Gemini 2s. Okay, Gemini 2s, if you know your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Gemini, that's you guys. This correlates to birthdays between June 1st and the 11th. Your natal suns are conjunct the moon on the 30th, so the day before Halloween. Conjunctions to the moon are simply really wonderful times to release emotions that you needed to get off your chest, to make you feel whole and complete again. There is actually a strength when the moon conjuncts your natal sun. It is almost like your own mini new moon, so this is a good time for a new start. You have a long-term sextile to Chiron, which is basically inspiration through the hardships that you've experienced, becoming inspired to be better, do better, and pave paths for other people that are experiencing the same pain. And that's long-term. This week, there is a quincunx that forms between your natal sun and the current sun on the 11th of November. Same thing as Gemini 1s. You will feel, when you feel like pinched, almost pinched or agitated through your ego or in your life purpose, you'll know that there's something there that you need to pay attention to because something isn't right. Absolutely, with that aspect, that's signaling that you need to pay attention to something. You also have a quincunx to Mars, which means action, movement, something spurring you into action or inciting, making you more demanding or insistent or persistent. And through the 2nd, you have a quincunx to Mercury. So there's a lot. This could be a very agitating week for you, but also a very clarifying week where suddenly you realize, like, the jig is up. This sense of, what do I really need to change or pay attention to? This is very frustrating. I got to get after it. So it can also be like a spur in the horse's side, a week where it pushes you forward out of frustration and angst. Let's go on to Gemini 3s. If you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Gemini, you guys are Gemini 3s. This correlates to birthdays between June 12th and the 22nd. Your natal suns are going to be conjunct the moon on Halloween. Very powerful energy, a lot of celebration going on there. This is a time for a new beginning, and so a release and a purge of what you don't need or care about anymore. And honestly, Gemini, it'll become very, very clear. It's a strength to have that moon conjunct your sun. So really clarifying energy and solidifying. So this week is really interesting for you. You guys, your natal suns are square to Venus, which can bring up a lot of challenges when it comes with desires that are sort of inconvenient for you. This is not the greatest time to get your hair done or to go get your nails done. I would wait, and I would also watch how much money I spent, because there can be a lot of conflicts and challenges with finance too. But you also have a trine to the south node, which is longer term, and a sextile to the north node. which provides an easement from where you've come from so that you can start taking action and opening your own doors, taking more responsibility for opportunities in your own life. And then we have a square to Neptune, which is longer term, but Neptune and Venus are in opposition to each other, and your natal sun sit right in the middle. This energy is very much like, in some ways, like love gone wrong. Not love gone wrong, but like super romantic, like getting lost in romance, and a romantic relationship that it will not last that long, but there is a sense of being overwhelmed by it and being swept away by it. So this week you could really experience being swept away by something, but also not just in romance, in money too. So watch yourself, because it could be easy for you to overindulge or hand somebody your credit card and really be taken advantage of, is what I'm trying to say. So be very, very weary of the way that you just sort of want to lose yourself. It is very creative energy. It's very stimulating energy for creativity. That's fantastic, and it's a great place to put all that energy. Get lost in productivity of creativity. That's fantastic, but ultimately this is a very distractible week for you. It's almost like going into the fog and losing yourself in a dream for a while. It'll be very good for you to have something this week that grounds you and helps to bring you back into focus every now and then. You're an air sign, so meditation is extraordinarily grounding for you because it will connect you to your breath again. FYI. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you know somebody who you think would enjoy it too, please share it with them. Share it on your social media profiles and like this video. And before you leave, please remember to subscribe to this channel. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the videos. All right, Cancer. What is going on in the zodiac sign of Cancer? So the moon comes home on November 11th. Make sure to say rabbit, rabbit, and it stays through the 3rd of November. So what does that mean? Well, the moon gets really lackadaisical in Cancer. It gets really easy and a little sloppy sometimes with its emotions, or especially us. Like, we could really get sloppy with our emotions when it comes to moon in Cancer. But there is a level of comfort there and coziness. So you're extra cozy and comfortable right now. That's beautiful, especially if you're around people that you can trust. Around people you can't trust, you could overshare your emotions and create really uncomfortable situations, to be honest with you. Let's go over what the moon is doing. So the moon is transiting between Taurus and Leo over the course of this week, between October 29th and November 4th. So on the 29th, which is today, the moon is going to conjunct Uranus and trine to Venus. This is going to give us a lot of surprising energy, surprising emotions, and surprising attractions or proclivities that will pass in a day, but extraordinarily unique to us. Then on the 30th, the moon transits into Gemini. So the moon in Gemini, it's not really making any major aspects, but the moon in Gemini is very clever and very free. It likes to be sort of open and friendly. On the 1st of November, okay, yeah. So on the 1st of November, the moon, I'm sorry. So on the 30th of, this doesn't make much sense to me. I might have wrote this down wrong. On the 1st of November, though, the moon does transit into Cancer. Here, on the 1st, the moon will trine to Saturn and trine the sun. This is a very strong energy. This is a very certain energy, and it will ground us so that we're not sloppy. It will make us a lot more confident and competent with how we express ourselves and getting shit done. Fixing things or understanding things that we really need, like helping us to be able to be self-contained and more productive. And then on the 11th there is a grand trine with Neptune and Mercury. And I wrote down here, we will see or accept what was hidden. This is a day of revelations for everybody, really, but especially for us. The sun is going to be trine to Mars and trine to the sun as well. But this is because the sun and Mars are conjunct to Mercury at that time. So this is a day of certainty for us on the 11th. This is a day of certainty for us, especially for those of you who are Cancer 2s. This is just like a revelation, a personal revelation day, where something that was not comprehensible to us will suddenly become tangible and we'll understand it. So this is a really aha moment day for us. Could also be really good news or a good visibility for us as well. So being seen or credited for things that we've done. On November 11th, the moon transits into Leo, where it will conjunct the nodes and be in opposition to Pluto. This can be a very emotional day or a very life-changing day, a day where we're ready and it's a turning point for us in our lives, in our certainty of the direction we need to go. And then on the 4th, the moon will square both the sun and Jupiter, which is basically putting it right in the middle of a bunch of certainty and assurance, or this need to find ourselves growing or expanding, right? And that it could challenge the way that we know our reality. It could challenge the way that we see ourselves, but we could also live up to the challenge and really advance where we could go with ourselves. So this is really actually a week of big changes and coming into our sense of self a lot more strong. So let's get into the decans. So if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Cancer, you are a Cancer 1. This correlates to June Cancerians. So June 22nd through the 31st is Cancer 1. We have a conjunction to the moon on the 1st. And remember, this is the day when the Cancer will this is the day when the moon will trine Saturn and trine the sun. So this is a really strong day for you, Cancer 1s. Your natal suns are already trine Saturn, and you will be trine Saturn through the 1st. So the fact that the moon hits this right before the sun transits sort of too far out of the first decan of Scorpio to really be conjuncting your natal suns anymore. Not conjuncting, trining your natal suns. This is a big day. This is a day of personal revelation and certainty, and even sort of a sense of just authority, personal authority on that day, on November 11th. Definitely rabbit, just letting you know. Let's go on to Cancer 2s. So if you know your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Cancer, you guys are Cancer 2s. This correlates to birthdays between July 1st and the 11th. Your natal suns are conjunct the moon on the 2nd. And this is where the grand trine between the moon, Mercury, and Neptune will be. Mercury, Mars, and the sun and Neptune will be. Your natal suns are trine Mars all week, trine Mercury through the 3rd, and trine the sun as of the 2nd. So especially on the 2nd, extraordinarily powerful day. Sextile to Jupiter and square to Chiron, which is long term, which is really grinding on us, making sense of our own shit, essentially. But the fact that we still have that sextile to Jupiter too, this is a week where you will find a lot of peace and easement through communications, putting yourself out there, talking, allowing yourself to be seen. taking action. You'll know where to do it. You'll know how to do it. This is the perfect day to interview, audition, test, or just communicate important information or look for important information that wants to come into you. This is a highly effective and creative day and really beautiful week for you in general, yes, but the second, because of the moon mashing up there that day, is extraordinarily powerful. Just an FYI. Cancer 3s. If you know that your natal sun falls between 20 and 29 degrees Cancer, you guys are Cancer 3. This correlates between July 12th and the 22nd of July. So the moon is going to conjunct your natal suns on the 3rd. Because your natal suns are also in opposition to Pluto, this is a very intensely emotional day for you, but it should emotions that clarify the corner you have to turn and the changes you have to make in your life, which you are, because the truth is you're also square to the nodes. This is a time where you will become certain, sort of an emotional check-in once a month, where you will know that the decisions you're making for your future are right for you, or what decisions you have to make your life right. Very clear on this day. Your natal suns are sextile to Venus and sextile to Uranus. This is very fun and unpredictable energy, and you will have passions or attractions or interests that you normally don't. Curious and mischievous, very fun, very playful. You'll even surprise yourself. There is a trine between your natal suns and Mercury from November 11th on, and your natal suns are already trine to Neptune. So by the 3rd, your natal suns are going to be part of the grand trine with Mercury and Neptune and the moon. So there is tremendous clarity and revelation, especially for you guys, especially those of you who are born more toward the 2nd decan. So I would say up through the 13th, 14th of July, maybe 15th, especially then, because this grand trine is especially impacting the 2nd decan. It's primarily happening within the 2nd decan of Scorpio, but more toward the end. So you guys born at the beginning of the 3rd decan, so say from the 12th through the 15th, are really going to feel this as well. Just an FYI, a day of real revelation and turnaround, personal understanding, and clarity. I love you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please remember to do so. Give this video a big old thumbs up, and don't forget to share it with friends that you know would enjoy it too. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the video. All right, Leo. So Leo, what is going on in Leo this week? Really just the moon. The moon comes to visit between November 3rd and November 4th. November 4th is when we end this week. It actually will stay through the 5th. But that's technically into next week. That will be when it hits Leo 3s. So your natal suns, Leo 1 and 2, will be conjunct to the moon on the 3rd and 4th consecutively. What's going on with the sun? Lots of activity in Scorpio. It is going to move between 6 degrees and 12 degrees Scorpio. It is conjunct to Mars. It is in opposition to Jupiter, both of these things all week long. It is square to the moon on the 4th, so the sun will be square to the natal suns and to the sun conjunct moon of Leo 2s. Okay, so that's a particular day we have to pay attention to. And it is semi-square to Venus this week, which means there can be little agitations or pokes, something poking at you, egging you on when it comes to your desires. So let's go into the decans, shall we? If you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Leo, you guys are Leo 1s. This correlates to Leo birthdays in July, so between July 22nd and the 31st. Your natal suns are conjunct the moon on the 3rd. This is actually a really powerful day for the moon, because on the 3rd, no, I take that back. So conjunction of the moon on the 3rd. This is actually really beautiful energy where you'll be more self-aware and certain of where your future is headed. Your natal suns are sextile to Venus. If you're at the cusps, this would be July 22nd, 23rd, maybe 24th. Your natal suns are, that's very romantic energy, and a lot of desire and sexual attraction is there. So this is a great time to date or get extra romantic, or even take some financial opportunities might break through for you that during this week as well. Your natal suns are square to the sun through the 4th of November, which can cause some conflict and some questioning somehow, like your own self-worth or confidence or courage can be a little bit challenged this week. But wherever it's challenged and you meet the challenge, you'll find a stronger connection to yourself and your own certainty, your own self-esteem. Your natal suns are also quincunx to Saturn, which means that work or any of your objectives as an adult, what you're trying to create, the person you're trying to create in yourself, there's something egging you on. There's something trying to push you forward. Pay attention to those things so that you know where potential conflicts could be. Let's go on to Leo 2s. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Leo, you are Leo 2s. This correlates to birthdays between August 1st and the 11th. So your natal suns are the ones that on the 4th really have to not watch out, but your natal suns are basically square the sun from November 11th on. This could cause some conflict or clashes with how you feel about yourself or how much certainty you have. This is a square, so this is actually part and parcel to you being strong and knowing who you are. Is to every once in a while question yourself. So that's fine, but there's also the moon involved on that day because the moon is conjuncting your natal suns. This could be a little extra emotional, so what you feel and what you want and who you know you are inside may be conflicting a great deal with what you have to do, or even where you're telling yourself you have to go. Check out those imbalances, take stock of them, and really they will reveal something to you that you may need to adjust. Your natal suns are square to Mars all week long. That can be quite impulsive and angry energy, and in some cases injurious. So pay attention to that one. We also have a square to Mercury through the 2nd. So especially in the beginning of this week, your natal suns are also square to Jupiter. This could be a big ass kaboom week for you where you explode because you're pissed at things. This is a trying and challenging week, but also a sense of you might get really souped up and psyched about this energy. Oh, I'm going to face these challenges. I want to do something about this. I'm going to go for it. And honestly, facing the challenges, I think, is exactly what you need to do in order to move forward. So this could actually be quite a productive week as long as you don't back down or lose your sense of self-purpose or self-esteem. Your natal suns are trine to Chiron, which is actually a beautifully grounding energy, which will help you not make mistakes from the past again, and basically know where you have to go. And this could be the squares that say, hey, this is what you've never tried. This is why it's challenging. Well, this is also what's going to move you forward. You have to be uncomfortable to grow. So this is quite the dynamic of growth for you. And I think a lot of certainty will become, you'll get a lot of certainty and clarity this week that, oh God, I got to get into my discomfort zone in order to get out of this complacency. This will be the week when it will become very clear what you have to do. Let's move on to Leo 3s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Leo, it is in the 3rd decan of Leo. You guys are Leo 3s. This correlates to Leo birthdays between the 12th and 22nd of August. Your natal suns are conjunct the moon on the 5th, which really goes just a day beyond this week. But just an FYI, they will be conjuncting the moon on the 5th. This simply means a new start for you. a day to purge emotions or attachments to things that are getting in your way, and be really, really certain of who you are and the direction you want to go. And there's a certainty about Moon conjunct the Sun, because it means both parts of you are really working in sync, the hidden and the external. If you're at the cusps, but cusps only, so Virgo cusps, this would be August 1st and 2nd birthdays, especially your natal suns are in opposition to Pluto. So this is a quite transformative time for you, and this will increase or amplify as Pluto starts, it's moving direct now, moving more toward the edge of Capricorn and then ending up in Aquarius, where it will be perfectly opposite, you guys. Your lives are going to be dynamically changing. You'll want to, or you'll be the ones creating the change. A little bit of the next few months, your natal suns are sextile to the south node and trine the north node. So there is this sense of knowing who you are and knowing what your talents are, and though that energy opening up doors for you, but also realizing, well, this is how I can apply it to my future, and becoming more comfortable with the direction that you have to go in, or more comfortable with things that you were never comfortable with before. The world is going to, you're going to start to become aware of your connection to things that you once felt very disconnected from. Your natal suns are square to Mercury as of the 2nd of November. They're square to Uranus all week long. That's actually long term. But the square to Mercury as of the 2nd, when Mercury comes in opposition to Uranus, is going to be quite challenging energy, because there's surprising information or surprising shit you might just shoot out of your mouth that could really be disruptive, but ultimately it could be productive as well. So take particular interest or stock of your thoughts or information you come across or conversations that you have come the 2nd of November. And then we have a quincunx to Neptune, which is long term as well. Your creative juices will be flowing. You'll be like getting a spur in your side. It's like, that's kind of what the quincunx reminds me of, this sense of I want to go forward. I want to move out of this space. Has your mind been foggy? Has your mind been too easily distracted? This could be something that you need to rein in order to move forward. But of course, you could also just harness that energy and use it to pull you forward by allowing your creative juices to flow. This is long term, so you can expect to be working in this energy for the next couple of years. But this week in particular, especially on the 2nd, where your natal suns suddenly become square to both Uranus and Mercury at the same time, this is quite the day of sort of agitation, frustration, wanting to stake a claim to your personal independence, make statements that may shock people. Stuff that you shoot out of your mouth now will surprise even you. So that is a particularly interesting day. I love you guys so much. I hope this brought some light to your week. If you know somebody who would enjoy it, please share it with them. And don't forget to like the video. And subscribe here if you haven't subscribed, so we can grow on astrology motivation. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the videos. Okay, Virgo. Venus is in Virgo. What's going on in Virgo? So in Virgo, we have Venus, and she is moving through the third decan. She's just in the third decan this week. She's moving from 20 degrees to 26 degrees Virgo. This means that she is conjuncting the natal suns of Virgo 3s. This is a very romantic, creative, and attractive energy. Could also be overindulgent and luxuriating, FYI. What's going on with Mercury? Mercury is in Scorpio, causing a lot of havoc this week. It is moving between 12 and 22 degrees Scorpio, conjunct to Mars and in opposition to Jupiter right up through December 31st. It's conjunct to Mars all week, but as of the 1st of November, it will now be in opposition to Uranus, which is really interesting and potent energy of surprising information and conversations that come up. And for you guys, it might surprise you what ends up coming out of your mouth. It'll surprise other people too. This isn't necessarily something you have total control over, FYI. So let's get into the decans. Okay, If you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Virgo, you guys are Virgo 1s. This correlates to Virgo birthdays in August. So say August 22nd through the 31st. Those are about the Virgo 1 birthdays. Your natal suns are sextile to the sun through the 2nd. This is very impactful charisma. Lots of charisma. It's a very helpful energy. It's since your natal suns are also in a long-term opposition to Saturn, this could be also the time where you stake your claim to your own independence, where you can break free of some restriction, where your charisma will shine the light on your capabilities so nobody can deny. This is a very helpful and encouraging and courageous energy. Let's move on to Virgo 2s. If you know that your natal suns are between 10 and 19 degrees Virgo, you guys are Virgo 2s. This correlates to Virgo birthdays between September 1st and the 11th. This is quite a powerful week for you guys. Your natal suns are sextile to Mars all week long. That gives a potent and productive energy. You can get into your body, use it. Progress can be made here. And certainty and courage are huge for you this week. You will take risks and chances you normally wouldn't. This is good because it'll open doors. We also have a sextile to Mercury through the 2nd. So right up through November 2nd, you also have the power of word at your fingertips as well. Clarity of mind. You'll know exactly where to take action and what to say. This could be quite a productive energy at work, for your career, or for anything that's really important that you need to get done. We also have a sextile to the sun through the 2nd. So right up through November 2nd, very potent energy for you to be seen, be attractive, be heard, express yourself, take action, go ahead and put yourself out there. You're trine to Jupiter for long term as well. That's huge because any risk you take is also going to be backed up by that easement of expansion, growth, and opportunity and fortune. This is a huge breakthrough week for you, but you got to take action, and you will, because with the sun and Mars and Mercury sextile to your natal sun, 100% you're going to know exactly what action to take. I love this week for you. It's a real breakthrough week for you guys. Let's move on to Virgo 3s. If you know that your natal suns are between 20 and 29 degrees Virgo, you guys are Virgo 3s. This correlates to birthdays between September 12th and the 22nd. So your natal suns are the ones conjunct to Venus. And your natal suns are in a long-term opposition to Neptune. Venus goes into opposition to Neptune this week. What did I say? Love drunk. Love drunk this week, whether you're in a long-term relationship or not. Long-term relationship, this is very good, because you've already vetted their qualities. If you're just dating, not very good, because you will fall into bed or think you're falling in love with somebody that really you have not done all your vetting with. So it could be very romantic, and I tell you, you might just get swept off your feet and not have a choice, but it's not going to last. This is about getting love drunk, lost in the fantasy of your desires and your sensuality. Beautiful energy. There could also be some deception here or some lack of clarity around financial situations. Not the best week to sign a mortgage or anything like that, because things will be less clear. Wait for all those important financial decisions till after this opposition has cleared. Please, 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 until after Venus has cleared your natal suns a week from now. You have a sextile to Mercury as of the 2nd, which will make you be able to communicate very clearly and think very clearly and very quickly. This would be you on crack because you normally have these capabilities anyway. And then we have long-term trines to Uranus and trines to Pluto. Venus is trine to both of them this week as well. This is very potent, powerful energy where you will desire and want odd things that you're normally not attracted to, people you're normally not attracted to. This could also be the energy of cheating and stepping outside of your, doing things that you normally wouldn't and not having the self-control that you normally do. because there's such gravity and potency to your attractiveness and in your desires. This is an FYI. Let yourself know it and let yourself be aware of it, because it'll be so much easier for you to compromise your morality this week. FYI. Could it be real hot? Yes. Will the things you do this week last long term? Depends on what consequences come out of them. Depends on, like I say, if you're on vacation, this is like the best week ever for you. Just wear condoms. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's it, right? You'll be this could be some majorly good, great memories. But ultimately, it's not going to give you long-term satisfaction or happiness. This is just short-term pleasure. And for those of you, like, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, not really sure. Depends on how big those choices were and how important your prior commitments were. So this is just that time when you could get really caught up in fantasy and get love drunk. For better or worse, that's what the energy is this week. You could also have a very powerful impact on other people. So if you have vetted some standards or you have vetted some opportunities prior, this is actually a good time to interview, because you could almost come in with almost like a transfixing, magical essence about you that you could really manipulate others very strongly with as well. FYI. Just be sure that it's what you really want, right? Because your brain will be foggy as to what you really wanted. So this is a powerful week to go after something you want, is quality, because you will have a potency and attractiveness about you. But if it's just a desire that pops up this week, put it on the shelf, because it is really not going to get you any kind of happiness. Unless you're on vacation and you can walk away. That's fine. I love you guys so much, and I hope this helped you. Please do share it with somebody else you think that it would help too. And then give it a like, and remember to subscribe to the channel. I love you guys, and I will see you in the videos. Have a great week.